My name's Ajay Badhwar and I'm with the Dow Chemical Company. Many might be thinking, why on earth is the Dow Chemical Company up here talking about CCS? Well, to be honest with you, we're not only an emitter of CO2, but we're also a solutions provider. Because we're an emitter of CO2, we're very concerned about how our own footprint makes an impact on how CO2 legislation gets formed. Because we're a solutions provider, we're trying to do our best to develop the technology before the market is ready, so that when the discussion comes of should we allow CCS technologies to be installed on systems, we can say the technology is ready. And I think that takes a certain moral fortitude to develop the technology before the market is truly ready. We're working with other technology partners, for example, Alstom Power, to help develop the technology to be installed in real life on real applications. Dow itself is one of our customers. We're taking our carbon dioxide from our existing coal-fired boiler in West Virginia. This is in Charleston, West Virginia, different than Mountaineer, using an advanced amine process and generating a concentrated CO2 stream with low parasitic load, low corrosion, so you can use more flexible materials of construction, and very low waste streams. So that when it comes down to it, can we make some form of a sustainable option? It's very easy to prevent the associated waste streams that may be generated. I'll quickly go through a few slides because I wanted to also outline what Dow Chemical is doing and why it's relevant to the CO2 market space. First of all, we're working on efficiency projects. Now, I know that sounds strange of a chemical company working on efficiency projects, but I think there's many segments to that. One is that we're working on developing car batteries so that you can run electric cars. We're working on building insulation materials so that you lose less heat from your homes. We're also working on reducing our own carbon footprint by taking carbon dioxide out of our emissions. Now, that sounds relatively straightforward. However, we're doing this before the market is really presenting that opportunity to us. So what that means is we're taking an aggressive approach. The Dow Chemical Company is taking an aggressive approach to reduce our CO2 footprint well ahead of the Kyoto protocols and before there's a real balanced trade market policy for managing CO2. And I think that speaks highly to the direction, the strategic leadership of our company. So I mentioned a little bit by our reducing energy intensity. I'll say that it's not truly altruistic. We have invested approximately $1 billion from around 1994, approximately $1 billion in assets, and it's paid off around $9 billion in energy savings. I think that's a major impact. The next point says developing energy sources that produce no greenhouse gases or almost no CO2. I think there's many facets to that. One, I'm not sure if you heard or not, but Globe was very kind to grant Dow winning a new invention award at Globe for our powerhouse roof shingles. That's a solar integrated shingle that goes on your roof. We're working on a green roof right next door in the Vancouver Convention Center, where it helps manage our water flow and reduce our energy emissions. We're working on the materials to make wind turbines lighter, stronger, and you can build the fin, the blade, longer to make it so that you have fewer turbines actually installed. But I think it also means that we can reduce the emissions of our existing power plants. That involves carbon dioxide capture. We can take carbon dioxide from facilities, power plants, as well as our industrial facilities, and capture it with minimum impact. As I mentioned earlier on, low parasitic load, low corrosivity, low waste streams. That is what the market really needs for CCS to survive. Now, I'll also say that we're capturing carbon dioxide from our existing operations. Here in Alberta, we're doing this at our Prentice 1 and 2 glycol plants, and we're just starting the application in Louisiana, where we're capturing CO2 from our streams. Now, keep in mind, we operate in a very globally competitive marketplace. The products we make as the Dow Chemical Company are price competitive with a global environment. Why on earth are we taking an additional cost penalty to install CCS technology or carbon capture technology when we are the price has to go into our products. The reason is it's the right thing to do. Dow recently changed our mission statement, and I know that's a strange point to bring up, big chemical company changing our mission statement, to say that we are developing new technologies to give our customers sustainable solutions. That's a very different mission than making large amounts of chemicals. I also wanted to say that we're storing CO2 in everyday products like plastic. There's two options what you can do for, let's say, natural gas. You can take it and burn it and reduce it down to the lowest thermodynamic state, or you can take it and make it into a plastic product, which actually takes that same CO2 and puts it into something that you can use. We're also capturing CO2 to make energy alternatives like ethanol. We're working quite closely with another partner called Algenol, where we're taking CO2 from our industrial operations and making an ethanol stream. Taking CO2 and putting it to use. That's what we call our putting to work strategy. I'll also say that we're using CO2 to increase energy supplies. As Judy mentioned, enhanced oil recovery is a very attractive market space. Dow is taking the CO2 that other partners are injecting in the ground and taking it and improving the energy efficiency of enhanced oil recovery. So you make that same amount of CO2 extract more oil from the reservoir. Or put it in another way, you're using CO2 to wash out the oil from existing reservoirs. The facility in Prentice, it's built on an oil field, an old oil field that hasn't been producing for quite some time. By using our CO2, we were able to extract additional oil from an existing reservoir that was previously not being produced. So that's a way to get more from less. And then storing CO2 underground, we're working quite closely with our partners to develop the technology so that CCS technology is developed. There's really two avenues. There's two streets that really need to be developed. One is the technology for carbon capture, and the other is for sequestration. And where those two streets meet is how we can get projects installed in different geographies. That's all I had for the discussion. I really look forward to the Q&A portion. Thank you.